Hey guys, welcome back to the Pecker Pod episode 2. I'm Brianna,
I'm Lauren.
and today we're going to talk about the transfer process. Lauren and I were both transfers to the school we're at now, and we both had, I would say, pretty interesting processes. And with swimming, I feel like the transfer process isn't really talked about that much.
I was really confused when I first started looking into it. There was like nothing that you could find online besides just like when the portal opened, and just kind of like what I thought it was just like basically recruiting all over again. But I think it was very different than recruiting all over again, and especially with so many schools having to cut people this year with the whole new like 20-person, 30-person thing. We thought it would be a good idea to talk about what we went through, talk about how we survived and how we came to where we are now.
Yeah, so this year the transfer portal opens up March 12th for women and the 19th for men.
So right after NCAAs.
Yeah, and then it closes a couple weeks after that. So for swimming, the portal it really isn't open that long, and it only opens up after NCAAs, which for me was really crazy because when I went in and decided that I wanted to transfer, it was the middle of my sophomore year, and I went into the compliance office and I was like, I'm ready to transfer. I want to leave right now. And they were like, the portal's not open. And that didn't make sense to me because you see everywhere else, like football, they can transfer whenever they want.
She couldn't swim until second semester, right?
Yeah.
So she like lost a semester of eligibility. I entered it like halfway through the portal opening, I want to say. I knew I wanted to transfer for a really long time. But I was like arguing with my parents, pretty much arguing with myself too about whether or not like that was going to be the right decision for me. And then I just went to my coach at the old university I went to, and I just had to fill out a form, and then I was in the portal, and I think I entered it like mid-May, right? When does it close?
It closes in April.
Yeah, so I entered it in mid-May, but like I was really stressed out because even like I could not find an actual freaking answer on whether or not when like the portal closes, if like they can still like see people in the portal.
And actually, I don't even know that much about that either.
I'm pretty sure the answer is yes. It's just you can't enter it past.
Yeah, I think if you're in it, you can stay in it and you can like still communicate with coaches, but you can't enter it once it's closed.
I was worried that because when I was like, do you have to like make a decision by the time like the portal closes? And so I was like, you have like 2 months, less than 2 months to make a decision, which is not the case. And I don't think I committed here until definitely, I think right when school was ending, so it was going to be like May, I guess like mid-April. So I took about a month to make my decision, but it is really, really rushed because I mean, immediately when I entered the portal within like 5 minutes, which frankly I'm blessed because a lot of people when they go in the portal they don't get any emails. I was getting like 20 emails a day from schools I've never heard of, like off the bat offering whatever money and which they weren't like fantastic schools, so I didn't really respond to most of them. But like I immediately was making phone calls with coaches, and then I was already planning on coming to the school because my boyfriend goes to the school, so I made it an unofficial visit. Yeah, I made it an unofficial visit when I came here and talked to the coaches and was immediately offered something, and then I took a few weeks to talk to other schools and make a decision. But like, I don't know about you, but within like 4 days I had like 20 schools reaching out to me. It was really overwhelming.
Yeah, so that's the one thing is like it's like we're going through recruiting all over again, but you know more about what you're looking for during the transfer process.
I knew exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah,
which is good because I guess like you do have a really short amount of time, but at least you have experiences. Like, I mean, you transferred your second year, I transferred my first year. So what kind of made me want to transfer is absolutely zero hate to this school. I still love the people. I'm still in contact with a lot of people who still go to the school. I see them at meets. I talk to all of them. Like, it's not like I literally, a lot of the time when people transfer, it's like if you see them, you avoid them. Like, that's not the case for me because that would be terrible. But pretty much in August, because I committed during COVID, So I didn't get to actually like go to schools, talk to people. It was just all through the phone, looking at schools on my because we were both 2022 graduates from high school. So COVID was rampant when I was going through my recruiting process, and I, like I said, or I don't know if I should re-say it. Like I said, I was looking at schools on my own. I went with my dad across country and visited like six to eight schools, I want to say. And yeah, so I committed to the school. And when I went in August for like our freshman orientation, it was like off the bat, didn't feel great about it. I was like, I'm a very like, it takes me a minute to like get in the groove of things. I'm like low key, I don't think that people here would say that I'm introverted as much as I used to be, but normally it takes me a really long time to like actually like be comfortable around people. So I was like, I'm gonna give myself some time. But as the months went on, very lonely. I felt really isolated. The school was really small and like in the middle of nowhere, and so I didn't really have a lot to do. Didn't have a car. And then some unfortunate circumstances happened, which really nothing against the school, but just really, really ruined my experience. It was just very stressful. So yeah, after that, low key, that was my excuse to dip. I used that as my out. I was like, I'm done. Had a great conference, which really definitely helped with the transfer process, because if you go in the portal and you're not like the fastest, like chances of you getting picked up by a D1 school is difficult. And a lot of times, like, they don't have money left if you're in the transfer report, which is another big issue. Is like they've recruited their entire class, like, but luckily our school had a lot of people that quit, so our class was really small, and now it's not. But yeah, so that was kind of my experience. Just I wanted to leave because it wasn't the right school for me, not because the team sucked. Which I know Brie has a different.
I have a different experience.
We have like opposite experiences.
Yeah, so I left my school because of the environment. Like the coaches, there were like staff changes, and the people there. A lot of them are great. There was like
I talked to her school,
a couple
and they dropped
people,
me.
Yeah, there were.
And they stopped responding to me. Thank God. But
oh my gosh, I talked to one of our recruits. One of our recruits that was here
is talking to them.
Was talking to them when I was on my transfer visit. She was on her like official visit here, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm talking to them."
Okay,
I'm
just surprised as to how they're still getting people after like, because it was like, if you go to her school cloud and you see what school she went to, you'll understand why I'm saying this. But there are so many news articles coming out, and like I saw stuff on Swim Swam about her school, and like I remember texting my dad being like, "Thank fudge, I did not go to that school." But
so like before, so
do your research.
I'll talk a little bit about it, because when I was in high school and recruiting, I started talking to this school, and like I had seen some of the stuff on Swim Swam, but I was like, oh, he like seems fine. So
I talked to the girl.
Oh, she ended up quitting.
Cool. Good to know. I didn't know that. Okay. Wait, when?
Right before the summer before I got there, she sent us an email, like all the recruits and stuff, because she recruited me.
Yeah.
And she was like, by the way, like I'm stepping down to like spend more time with my family. Like this isn't the right choice for me right now.
That sucks.
Like it was a super sweet email, and like I really liked her because I talked to her like my whole recruiting process. But like it was really sad. But I didn't think it would make that much of a difference. And then like I got there and I realized like being an all girls team with all male coaching staff.
Same thing, all girls team, all male staff.
Yeah, it doesn't really like mesh well together.
I thought they did a good job with us. I really liked my assistant coach, miss them, but
it has to be like the right group of men. I think
we only had 2 coaches. Oh, and like a GA.
We had a GA, and she also quit because of the head coach.
Oh, she just went to. I think she just went off. I don't remember what happened.
But during this period of time, a bunch of girls from the team I was on quit because of some allegations that were out there. And I didn't think like it would make that big of a difference, kind of thing. So when I came in, my freshman class was like 7 girls. And they were just like bringing kind of bigger classes to replace that like group of people. Yeah. But when I left, they also lost a diver who quit, a girl who transferred to another school, another girl that transferred to keep swimming. They lost like a handful of people during this time, but I was the one who left mid-year because I just like decided that I was done with it. So I remember like I went into the compliance office. It was right before Thanksgiving break because I had finals left, but I went in and I was like, okay, I'm ready to leave. And he was like, sorry, the portal's not open.
So did you go to compliance because you didn't want to talk to your coaches about it?
It was just kind of
Or
like
was
an
it
unspoken thing.
okay?
It's just kind of an unspoken thing there. You don't talk to your coach about leaving. You just like, you have to go to compliance.
I went and talked to him like Tuesday, and I was like, I'm thinking about transferring, and he's like, because my dad wanted me to talk to him. He like kind of talked me out of it. I was like, I really want you to stay. Like, obviously he's gonna want me to stay because like I want a bunch of events. Like, no shit. But I like went back, and then I think Friday I went back and was like, nah, sorry, I gotta leave. I'm dipping.
I like knew the minute that I entered the portal, like all the athlete stuff would like be cut off from me there. So yeah. I was like on the phone with my parents the day after I went into compliance, like back and forth. I was on the phone with my club coach from home, like some of my close friends that swim other places. I was like trying to decide what to do. Like, do I leave mid-year? Do I wait till after conference? But my parents were like, okay, like you can come home, take classes through the college at home. Like, my dad ended up flying out the next day. We packed up my apartment within the span of like 24 hours, loaded up into my car, and drove like 16 hours home. And I was like, that's probably the best decision like I could have made.
Yeah, I would if I had to go back and do it all over again. I would have left sooner.
Yeah, that's like the same thing. Yeah.
Well, like I mean, I guess I left at the correct time. Like I'm glad that I had that experience because, frankly, it makes me appreciate where I'm at so much more.
Yeah.
Love this school, love the people, and I'm closer to home, which is nice. Yeah, love people. Yeah, best experience ever. I'm sad I only have 1 more year left, which is like crazy to think about.
I know. I was like thinking about it, and because I couldn't swim this first semester, I almost thought about redshirting the whole year.
Oh, yeah.
So I could have like a full year. But I like talked about it with
our coach.
And he was like, no, like I think you'll still get the most out of your experience if you start swimming. And from the minute I met him on my visit, I just like instantly felt like he was a coach that I could trust.
I talked to him for 3 hours after Saturday practice when I came.
Really?
Like 3 freaking hours, like 3 full hours. I'm sure his wife was like, "Where the hell are you?" But like, we could not stop talking. Matt fell asleep on the couch outside in their office because we were talking for too long.
Really?
Yeah, love him.
Yeah.
He's very, he's just a person you don't want to ever stop talking to, which is nice.
Yeah, I think the environment here like makes the team what it is.
Yeah. I think the coaches have a really good environment for us. It's very like room to grow, very encouraging. They're never gonna like tell you you're doing something wrong in like a mean way.
I feel like
they'll tell you you're doing something wrong in a nice way. But, like,
yeah, I feel like it's a really like family oriented environment. Like you're like part of the family when you get here.
It's so nice. They take us to like Thanksgiving, and like I took one of the international kids home with me, and like all the international people have a place to go to. Like I didn't feel like that at my last school. There was like I think also on an all girls team, like there's a lot of like cliquey drama, which like I think every school's gonna have, but I think if there's like one piece of advice I have when people like come and talk to me about going to school, I'd say I would avoid going to an all girls team if you're like me. Because I know that some people like that's like great for them, it's a good environment, but growing up mainly swimming with guys, it's very different.
Yeah. I feel like an all girls team for me was like everyone was at each other's throats all the time. Like it wasn't like a like team, it was more like these are your biggest competitors. Like the people you train with every day, those are your competitors. But like here, the people that I train like within my stroke groups, they're some of my favorite people, like, because I'm happy for them
Yeah.
when they
It's
do well.
healthy competition.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you're competing against your teammates and stuff, and, like, you want to beat your teammates, which is completely normal, but it's not, like, you're gonna feel happy when they succeed.
Yeah.
Versus just, like, being upset that they beat you.
And then, like,
For a majority of the
turn,
team.
like, they're happy for you when you also succeed. Like,
yeah, I definitely agree.
When you were transferring, did you get emails about being, like, a triathlete?
I don't think so.
Okay, because
I can't run, as we've clarified in the last episode. I mean, no run.
I know I got those emails, and then a girl that transferred from the school I was at before also got them.
Well, that makes sense because they saw that you're a runner. They probably saw that you ran and swam.
Yeah, I don't think she ran. I was, like, so confused. Because I just, like, kept getting all these triathlon emails, and my parents were like, "Oh my gosh, you should check that out." I was like,
I mean, I got some about open water stuff. But that's because they could see that I can swim in open water.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing. If you're going into the portal, you can opt to be, like, non-contact. Where if you go in the portal, you can click, like, a non-contact button and coaches can't reach out to you. But don't do that, like, accidentally if you actually want to go to the school. Because then you have no coaches reaching out to you. I heard about a girl doing this, and she was really confused why nobody was reaching out to her. I'm like, you're stupid.
Like,
you're dumb.
Compliance made that pretty clear to me. They were like, make sure you don't click that.
Yeah.
Unless you want to reach out to them and, like, not be overwhelmed with things. But I was like,
I think the only reason that people go non-contact is if they're going to transfer to a school and not swim. So if you enter the portal and you're deciding that you're just quitting but you want to leave your school, then that's why you hit non-contact. But also, like, do you even have to go into the portal if, like, you quit?
No, I think you can just, like...
So I'm confused why somebody would go non-contact. Like, maybe you just want to reach out to schools and you don't want, like I had spam schools, like, reaching out to me, and I was like, I don't need you.
I think it's almost like for the people that already know where they want to go because they were talking to swimmers or, like, friends at a different school before they transferred, and, like, they already have that kind of, like, lined up.
I already knew I really wanted to come here just because I was visiting Matt and I love the campus already, so I knew automatically I was going to reach out to him. But that was the only school that I knew I was going to reach out to, and another one.
I knew I wanted to reach out to schools, like, in this conference because all the schools in the conference that we're in are closer to home for me.
I wanted to be on the East Coast.
Yeah. That was a big thing, is, like, I knew I needed to be closer to home.
Yeah, because I'm only 2 hours away driving, which is really nice. Even though my parents are never freaking home anymore, but it's fine. I was in Florida.
I'm only about a 7-hour drive.
Yeah.
Half of what I was before.
Period.
Did you have to do an exit interview when you transferred? Okay. I had to go through an exit interview, and that was, like, the scariest thing. Because I thought
they
I
might
was
have
just,
done
like,
that just because
of
your school.
So
I was a one in, like, person who's probably one of the first people to ever transfer to that school in a really long time, which shows it wasn't a bad school, just not for me.
Yeah, like, I went in and I thought I was just meeting with compliance, which was, like, one guy, and I get there and it's like the compliance guy, the athletic director, the assistant athletic director. I would
shit myself.
I was like,
holy. They were trying to probably find answers. Yeah.
And they were like, okay, we're gonna sit so that you can easily leave if you just want to get up and walk out. And I was like,
I would have gotten up and walked. I would have left. I don't want to do
what
that.
What are you about to ask me?
That's terrible.
Yeah.
My one big concern talking to my parents is my dad was flipping his shit, and he's like, "You're not gonna get money. Like, if you get anything, you're gonna have to pay for a ride." Personally, I'm fine, but I definitely think it depends. Most of the time when you transfer, I was really lucky where I dropped a bunch of time my freshman year, and so I could go to a school that was equivalent, if not, like, frankly better than where I was. But if you don't drop your freshman year whenever you transfer, chances are you're going to have to go to, like, a slower school or drop down the level, like, to D2 or D3.
I think entering the transfer portal, like, no matter what, is a big risk because
you never know. And I entered really late, which was, like, the scary part.
Yeah. You just have to know that, like, you might not be able to stay, like, within the same conference or the same level, and money is so limited because they're also trying to give that money to incoming freshmen.
Yeah. Oh, other thing. If I was told this, didn't know this. If you leave and if when you enter the portal and then for some reason the portal doesn't work out and you don't end up transferring, they have the right to revoke your scholarship. They don't need to keep it. Um, a lot of the time, at least for me, like they were like, if you decide to stay here, like he was like, your scholarship could be taken away, but I think he kind of hinted like it wouldn't be. Um, but they do hold that option. So just keep that in mind. So I wouldn't enter the portal unless you're like 100% sure you want to leave, because otherwise you could end up not being able to leave and then you're stuck with nothing and having to pay, and then maybe they won't even let you back onto the team and then you're not swimming. So don't go into the portal if you're looking for options. Go into the portal when you're 1,000% sure you are going to leave.
Yeah, I think the scariest part is just like deciding to leave.
Yeah.
But
I was shitting bricks in that office. Oh my god.
Yeah, but I feel like you'll know if something's not the right fit. And honestly, if it's not the right fit, like somewhere out there definitely is. Like there's so many schools, so many teams, like every place's environment is so different. And I talk to my friends at some different teams and like their environments are so different, and those are things that like wouldn't work for me, but they love.
I think I knew from like my gut when I first went and visited in August, like I knew something was off. So just listen to your gut, and if you think you want to transfer, like do it. Like I think I haven't heard one unsuccessful transfer story. Personally, I think everybody who's transferred here, our half of our team is freaking transfers at this point.
It's
like
crazy.
Everybody loves it. I know I have another friend who transferred who really likes it and is really happy now. I know a girl who hasn't transferred who I think should transfer, but she loves the school and just hates the team. So then there's stuff like that happens. But that's a whole different thing. But yeah, just like you know what you want. You know.
Yeah, and I mean like you can always talk to. I feel like my club coach was probably one of the best people I talked to during the process, like besides my parents, because he was like, I would come home for breaks and he like could tell I wasn't happy, but he wasn't gonna say anything until I said something to him. Okay. I think for me, like the biggest sign I needed to leave was when I would go home for breaks and I'd see all my friends like excited to go back to school, and I was like,
yes,
I don't want to go back.
I've said this multiple times. It is so weird being here and literally not wanting to go home, because I was like, yeah, I want to be like closer to home so I can visit. I never leave. I'm always here, and I'm like one of the closest people to home. But I love the school so much. It's like I would just rather stay in my bed. Like I don't want to go home.
Like this is like
I have a job that I love. Like, I have like all my friends. I have my amazing roommates, and like I also know part of the reason I don't go home is if I go home like during the summer, I'm not gonna swim. So that's part of the reason I stay here. But that's another thing. I think if it's like you're like just waiting till the weekend to go home because like it's you like need to get out of the school, low key red flag. Like think about it. Is that something that should be happening?
Where's like the red flag guy?
I don't know. We have like a pair of underwear, but but yeah, that's something to consider. If like you're really like, I can't tell what the signs are that I need to transfer. If you're like waiting to go home, that's a sign. And if like you have this little tingling thing in your if you have a little tingly feeling in your gut, I think listen to it. Like your body and your mind and your mind knows what's best, you know. And sometimes, I mean, my dad's whole argument was like the grass isn't always greener on the other side, but frankly, it is. So
I just think you have to be willing to take the risk. Like if you feel like that you're not in the right place, like you just have to risk it. And like
I feel like I'm the kind of person who believes that like everything works out for the best. Everything works out for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. The stuff that happened to me freshman year, it definitely happened for a reason, because I'm a much different person than I was my freshman year, and I'm more outgoing, and you know I took all of those things and I learned from it, and like I came here and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try some things differently. Clearly it worked out. So
yeah, I'd say I'm like mentally a much stronger person than I was.
Very resilient now.
Yeah,
as we were talking about in our psych meeting. Yeah, much more resilient. We learned a lot, and yeah, I think we're really happy, and that's our little 2 cents on the subject.
Yeah. We know that this year's going to be huge for the portal. Yeah. So
we just wanted to give a little bit of advice because we couldn't find anything whenever we search stuff. So maybe this will help somebody.
Hopefully.
If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. We'll answer them.
And follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, the Pecker Pod. TM. Not really.
Your new favorite podcast.
Yeah, but thanks so much for watching. Yeah.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah, bye guys. Oh. You can come in the frame. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, you're on the mic. We'll see y'all later. Bye.